So huge thanks for joining myself live in London this week, from Cannes last week to London this week, and we're here in the heart of the west side of London, I would say. So Anil, very experienced investor, both commercial, residential, also an accountant since the 1980s as well.
Mm-hmm.
So why commercial? What got you interested in commercial investing?
Oh, well, this is going back in time, Brendan. In the early days, I originally was into residential, like most investors in those days. And slowly I realised the time that was taking to deal with the tenants, the issues, and this is all before AST with rent regulations and so on. And I stumbled across commercial property at the time, and I realised that it was a much easier investment to hold. Time was very valuable for me in those days, trying to build up my practice, so I needed something that could be a good investment and yet not take up too much of my time.
So we've briefly looked at what already one of the advantages of commercial over residential, and this video is not about whether one is better than the other because you're involved in both.
Mm-hmm.
It's just understanding what the differences are in terms of regulations, in terms of tax, in terms of law. So what do you see as the advantages of commercial?
I mean, clearly both have their own advantages. Clearly for me, the commercial angle is that you often have a much more professional type of tenant, a large type of business, what we call security of tenure. Commercial leases are, in these days, at least sort of 10-year terms. Historically, they were 25-year terms. So you're virtually guaranteed a tenant for the term of that lease. You're virtually guaranteed the rent for that term of that lease. So you don't have this issue of voids generally, but in the talk I will cover, I mean, there can be voids and the reasons for that. But generally, if you pick a decent tenant, you don't have those issues. You don't have to worry about rent not being paid. It's just quarterly in advance. You don't have any repair issues. There's things called what they call the RPI, FRI leases, which are basically fully repairing and insuring leases.
Some of you may be wondering, you know, we're going into a lot more detail on Thursday, or Anil will. So you mentioned about qualifying that tenant, the commercial tenant. Will you be going into some detail, a little bit of detail on Thursday about how you qualify that tenant?
Oh yes, people often talk about location and yields as the important factors in property investment. Surely they are, but when it comes to commercial leases, tenant is one of the most important things, and having one type of tenant over another will clearly influence the yield. So especially with the market, the high street as it is today, it's very important how you decide on the tenant.
Because it can be quite a volatile market. I've recently seen Maplin's is closing down its shops, and you know, I don't want to be the doom and gloom. That's not the purpose of this video. Its purpose is to be more in the opposite way, but it's for people to be practical as well and to realize things can happen even in the retail market. So Anil, for people who are thinking, look, we're interested in commercial, what's going to be some of the takeaways from your presentation on Thursday?
Basically, somebody who's not been involved in commercial or in residential, who are probably looking for ways in which to avoid Section 24. That's one way. If somebody has got to a stage where many of our clients have, where they've got a decent portfolio of residential, and it's just taking up too much of their time, they want to take it a little bit easier. They want investments which are producing and yet being sort of easy on their time and effort.
How much time does it take over a year managing your commercial portfolio? Is that hard to quantify?
Yeah. That's difficult to apply to everybody because it depends on the size of the portfolio. I mean, I would probably say in our situation, it's a good couple of days a week. of dealing with it. But that's
significantly
because of the
less than residential.
Significantly less than in residential. Significantly less, yes. So yeah, the takeaways will be what the advantages are. We'll look at some of the tax issues that are different for commercial and residential. The impact of VAT, which is quite important for commercial, how that will impact. If a buyer is going into commercial, they need to be aware of the sorts of things they need to look at in leases. The traditional AST model, it's a standard tenancy agreement, whereas in a commercial lease, it's very important the types of clauses that are in there, which could affect the value when you buy it, and also the value when you come to sell it.
So how did you create that relationship with a good solicitor, Anil, in terms of commercial leases?
Very good point, Brendan. If you're going to go into commercial property, you really need a very specialised solicitor who deals with commercial conveyancing. Your traditional solicitor will do the job for you, but like everything else, he's not going to be able to pick up the small points that could be could affect you in numerous ways. So it's just really picking somebody that works for you, going to a decent firm with a good commercial division, and they'll do the job for you. But yes, I would emphasise you have to stay away from your standard high street solicitor unless they've got significant, and I emphasise significant experience in dealing with commercial leases.
Sure. So look, it's just a short snapshot video. It was interesting. I heard something say yesterday, if you can't say it in 10 minutes, it's probably not worth saying it, or words to that effect. That's why on places like LinkedIn now you can just update a video, upload a video, which is maximum of 10 minutes. So Anil, I just want to say huge thanks for taking time out this morning. Look, there's some people who may still be in Cannes, they're so enjoying themselves so much that they've stayed the next week as well.
Lucky them.
Yeah. So how can people connect with you who can't make Thursday? That's the key question. And your day-to-day activity is as an accountancy firm.
Yes, I mean the day job is, as you say, is we have an accountancy firm. We specialise in property investors and developers. We have a team of people here. So anybody who's got issues in those areas, and especially if you've got a portfolio and think of incorporating, which really is something people need to look at, then we have a specialised division for that.
And to get hold of that, is it kumarstrategicconsultants.co.uk?
Yeah, Kumar Strategic Consultants, website kumar.co.uk. We're on Google and everywhere, and we're happy to talk to anybody.
And Anil, you've presented at a number of different meets, not just my own meets, also at the NLA, National Landlords Association as well. Yes. So that's in fact where I first heard Anil speak. The amount of questions Anil was getting after his actual presentation slot. So I just want to say huge thanks. I look forward to seeing you this coming Thursday evening, and I look forward to seeing you as well, Anil.
Good.
Thank you.